man. Not another day like last Tuesday.
Cause it's Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday, Newsday.
The big news.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday Newsday number 3 for this year. Today's Tuesday Newsday is going to look a little bit different than previous weeks. Much of it will be the same. I've got 2 articles for you to read, and you will have a lot of the same questions about it. However, I'm just going to leave your scale down there in the lower right the whole time as I have my video going here. Today's article is, the topic is Senate Republicans oust Walz labor commissioner during special session. And your second article, centered around the same topic, is titled Minnesota Republican Lawmakers Assail Walz Pandemic Powers, Oust Labor Commissioner. Your task will be to read the first article, which is posted in the Edpuzzle question now. The second article is posted in the Edpuzzle question at the right now. All right, now that you have had time to read each article, I'd like to ask you this question. What is the one-line quote from Governor Walz in its own third paragraph? It's one line, it's the third paragraph. What is that quote? It starts with there, the word there. And why is that quote significant to the story? And secondly, is that quote in the second article, the article from the Star Tribune? You're allowed to go back to the other link, of course, and reread the article if you'd like. How does this quote, being in one article and not another, speak to the tone and or bias of the author, in this case, Max Nestorak? On to the second article here. In the 6th to last paragraph, there's a quote from Senator Paul Gazelka. Begins with, "We think." We write out that whole quote and answer this question. What is the significance of that quote to the main idea of the article? All right, the worksheet here requests that you identify the topic. Remember that oftentimes the topic comes through in the title of the article and gives us an insight into that central idea and helps us identify what that central idea is. What I'd like you to do now is the first article, the Minnesota Reformer article. I'd like you to summarize that story in 12 words exactly. Now, 32 words exactly. By doing this, we are able to identify the important pieces of support for that main idea, which is the evidence that the author uses to prove his or her point. What are the first and last sentences of the article? We know that there's not a third article. You might just go copy paste those from the links that you should have opened when you read those articles. So you can just copy and paste those right in there and put those in the question at the right. First article, now. Second article, now. The first and last sentence of each article help us to point out how those ideas build on one another. Oftentimes they're used as evidence as well. That last sentence so often gives us an insight into that main idea. What is the main idea of these articles? Answer this question now. Down to tone and bias. And this speaks to the main idea, but it even builds on this even more. It builds into sort of the journalistic nature of writing for a newspaper and reporting on the news, which kind of fits a secondary standard, but even still, that main idea shines through in what that tone and bias is, because the main idea is slightly different in each article based on that tone and bias. So I intentionally pulled two articles that had differing perspectives. What do you think is the major difference between the two articles? And what about the articles gave you your answer? So this first quote that says, "There will be a reckoning on this." That's the quote from Governor Walz in Article 1. Why is this quote included in the story? Because this quote comes off as a bit of a threat, payback of some sort. Like reckoning would mean that there's some sort of payback or retribution. It does not shed a positive light on Governor Walz, and that might be the reason that it was left out of the other article. But it was included in this one. And for Article 2, we think this virus is real, is serious. We need to be aggressive against it. But to allow the governor to continue to have emergency powers like never before and giving up all of our liberties is a mistake, Gazelka said. So how does this quote support the main idea? Well, Gazelka's trying not to minimize the virus, but he, and really the Senate as a whole, feel that Governor Walz is overstepping his boundaries, and this move, the removal of the Commissioner of Labor, is a response to that. And lastly, find a third source, an article that is centered around the same topic, though not from the Star Tribune or the Minnesota Reformer, and tell me how the main idea in that article differs from what we've seen in these two articles. So you're going to have to go to your Google, search the same topic, find a new source, read about that source, read that article, and then tell me how it is different from the first two. And your last question, where would you rate your ability to accomplish this learning goal? Would you put yourself at a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? Remember, 1 and 2, totally okay. Tells me what I can do differently to help you make the connections that need to be made. Maybe I need to highlight quotes better. Maybe I need to, ask more direct questions or ask my questions differently. But a 1 or a 2 kind of tells me that, because again, the goal is to get everyone to a 3. If we all kind of feel like we're at 1s or 2s, that tells me what I can do better. If you are at a 4, to be at a 4, that means that you are comfortable with answering the question about the quotes. How are those quotes important in the story? The ones in the Minnesota Reformer article, the one-line quote from Governor Walz, and in the Star Tribune article, the 6th to last paragraph, the quote from Senator Gazelka. What is the significance of those quotes? If your answers to those are spot on, I could see you placing yourself at a 4. Beyond that, probably at a 3, even if you feel really, really comfortable. Now that you have answered this question, you have earned your unit for today.